No voice.
Yes. Alwin sir, shall we start the session?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good morning. So, yes, I'm good to start the session.
Just wait, there is an introduction session.
Okay.
Yeah, followed by that, you can start the session.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Fine. Good morning to one and all present here. So now I will invite Engineer Monisha Shireen for giving the introduction about the research person. So Monisha ma'am, please unmute your mic.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So good morning to everyone. It's my honor to welcome today's distinguished resource person, Mr. A. Alwin, on our sixth day of FDP on Next Generation Cybersecurity, AI-driven threat detection, analytics, and defense. Mr. Alwin works as a senior project associate at Cognizant Technology Solution in Chennai, focusing on network security. He has over 12 years of experience in the IT sector with solid expertise in cybersecurity, enterprise network infrastructure, firewall technology, and secure network management. Throughout his career, he has held key technical roles at well-known companies such as Cognizant, HCL Tech, Mindtree, Wipro, and Guidehouse. While at Mindtree, he served as a technical specialist for Palo Alto, acquiring significant hands-on experience in advanced firewall technologies and enterprise security solutions. His work at HCL Tech and Cognizant has further enhanced his skill in designing and maintaining secure, resilient, and business critical network infrastructures. Today, he will present a session on security analytics and security information and event management SIEM tool to effectively identify, analyze, and respond to cyber threats. We are thrilled to welcome an esteemed industry expert today, and we believe his practical insight and real world experience will significantly benefit all participants. Representing the management, principal, HOD, faculty coordinators, and the Department of Information Technology at St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, I warmly welcome Mr. A. Alwin. Sir, we are truly honored by your presence. Welcome, and we anticipate an insightful and enriching session. Welcome, sir.
First of all, thanks for a brief introduction about about myself. Thank you, everyone, and good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone here. So, hope my voice is audible, right? Anyone can confirm that?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Sorry for the interruption. There is a photo session, so I kindly request all the participants to turn on your camera for the photo session. Okay, sir. Thank you. Now you can proceed.
Okay. So, good morning again, one and all. So, let me share my screen about the PPT of the slides, and that is going to be presented today. So we are going to talk about the threat analysis and security information and event management that was happening in the real-time corporate world. So along with few of the insights about how the firewall is also handling the threat and event management nowadays in the corporate environment. So let me go ahead and share the screen first. So please let me know once the screen is visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So there so this session will have some interactive questions as well. So whoever can answer those, please go ahead and answer, so that I can get an idea that how well you know about devices that was in the real time environment, so how it was working on the real time environment. And if not, we are going to have a brief discussion about those devices as well. So how it is used in real world, along with how the logs will be forwarded to the log management, and with the help of that, how the SIEM is useful nowadays for the threat management as well. So let's quickly move into the slides about the background of the network component. So this is most familiar words for everyone. So mostly on whoever working on the IT field or in the IT designation. So those people will know about that. What is router? And so can someone please give me how the router works in a real world? What is the purpose of router? And okay, so let's talk about that in the upcoming slides then. So the router, we have these are all the networking components. So router, IPS, IDS, firewall, switch, servers, the demilitarization zone, and virtual private network. When we talk about IPS and IDS, this is one of the important tool that is used for threat detections and for threat prevention. So we have two different kind of architecture that can be placed in the real world for IPS and IDS. So IPS is just, it's a device, the same device that can be used for prevention, which means that when a threat is detected on the IPS device, it will directly stop the threat over there. And then Mohammed sir, if you feel to answer that, you can just unmute and you can answer. There is no harm in that. Okay. So when we talk about IPS, the IPS, as I said, right? So when a traffic comes in, and if there is any malicious threads or whatever that was detected, it will stop at that level itself. It will not forward the traffic from there. So uh, any kind of malicious attacks will not reach into the environment. The detection system is somewhat different. It will act in a different way. It will detect the threat or detect the malicious traffic, but once the malicious traffic was detected, it will not stop the traffic over there. It will forward it to the next hop, and even the traffic will reach the destination. The data will reach the desired destination, but the detection system will give us a hint, hey, there is a malicious attack, or this packet contains some data that is going to be harm the environment. So with the help of that, we need to analyze it. We need to find how harm it is going to affect the environment. We will take a action based on that. And when we talk about firewalls, so firewall, nowadays we have the firewall is also having an option of IPS and IDS as well. There is an inbuilt feature for that. We call it as a next generation firewall. So initially, when the firewall was introduced and when the firewall was working in, so as we all know about the OSA layer, so in the OSA layer we have 7 layers. So the firewall will work till the layer 4. When we talk about the layer 4, we will create a rule. In that rule, we can make from this source to this destination the packet can travel. And when you see, let me give this, when you see that this port number is allowed, then the firewall will take an action. Okay, so I have a rule, I have a security rule that was allowing from this source to this destination with this port number, so I'm going to allow the traffic. So this is how the traditional firewall was built. So after that, it cannot inspect anything. It will stop at layer 4 level of inspection itself. And when the evolution happens, and when it comes to the next generation firewall, it can make deeper inspection as well. Apart from layer 4 inspection, it will move further into layer 7 as well. So what kind of application that the traffic is, that the data packet contains, whether it is a Facebook application, or whether it might be Google based, it might be LinkedIn. So with the help of it can inspect till layer 4, layer 7, and make sure that okay, so the user is trying to reach out this desired destination, and this is the app ID. So it can inspect deeper into that what exactly was going inside the packet, and also will have some analysis of the content as well, because it can inspect deep. So it will analyze the content, whether the content is relevant to these applications or any malicious link that has been accessed by the user. So so these are all the main important components that works on security level. And when it comes to switches, it's basically for group the network together, and servers, as we all know, right? So there are applications, website servers, and the external face, those, this is one of the important zone that we will configure in all the real time environment. So in the architecture design we will talk deep about that. And VPN, it's all about connecting towards from in the public we are connecting a private network towards our remote sites. So let's moving into the next slide. So this is about defense in depth. So the same as we have the OSA layer model, so it will act like that. So we have data, application, host, the internal network, and when it comes to physical security, uh, perimeter physical securities, and how the policies will be used to do that. Now we all know in the physical security, it might have covered earlier as well. So we will have that physical kind of security guards, locks, to cover all those the security kind of stuffs. Let's move to host security. So here are the important things that we need to do in our day-to-day activities to make sure that our environment is safe. When it comes to OS hardening, right? So when we talk about we will get in the real time, we all get a mobile update, or you might get an application update for what are all the applications that you have installed on your systems or in your mobile phones. It might be all the applications, the Google Chrome or whatever it may be. On a monthly basis or on by monthly basis, you will get an update. So we need to install that update. So that patch update was released based upon the loopholes in the programming that was available on the uh, on the software. So when a organization or when a application owner is finding that, hey, we have a loophole on our application, so they are releasing the patch to make sure that we are installing it and fixing the loophole, so that the intruder or an external attacker will don't have the landscape to attack into our environment. So that's how all this OS hardening part will work on the real time as well. As same as mobile network, we will have a servers that needs to be completely installed with an update, so that it will free from the real time attacks based upon b- based upon the softwares that was released from the respective owners. So even the antivirus is also about like that, based upon how the new kind of virus that was on the environment, or that was available on the cloud or somewhere. So they will detect that new virus has been detected. So in order to avoid that antivirus to attack to our environment, they will be releasing the antivirus updates. So when we install that update, that attack will not happen to our environment. It's similar to how the real it is similar to like we are, for our kids, we are using the antivirus injections and all, right? So day by day the injection is getting more and more. Okay, so for preventing this kind of virus, we are using this antivirus injection, or those kind of injections we are inbuilding into it to make sure that their immunity is acting again that. So same kind of approach has been taken on the network level itself. Okay, now let's talk about how the typical corporate environment will look like. So usually we will land these devices separately, the routers, the firewalls, the internal the servers, and the host. Everything we will talk it in a we have landed separately, might have. But how it works? So on the edge of the network, we will be having a router. So the router will be used from the ISP connection will land towards our router. It is similar to that how we have the router on our home. So we have a separate devices on the corporate. So the ISP will land on the router. The router will forward the traffic to IPS if that is required. In all the environment, it will not be there. So we have talked about IPS detection, IPS prevention system and detection system earlier, and then the traffic will come to the firewall. From the firewall it goes to the switches, but from the firewall it goes to the respective switches. So all the switches will have a different functionality. So this is for the users who are sitting in the internal network. And we talked about demilitarized zone, right, on the previous slide. So this is how the architecture look like. So all the external based applications will be placed on the demilitarized zone. So there is a purpose of keeping that in the demilitarized zone, because the attack towards the external faced application is always higher than the internal persons, because the internal persons mostly used to try to reach out to the destination, not from outside to inside. It will not happen all the time, but these servers are exposed to the internet to make a connectivity. So when the outside traffic will mostly land on this demilitarized zone. So whenever an attack has been identified on this zone, so we are we are isolating this zone, make sure that this whenever an attack was identified on this zone is not spread to all the other zone easily and effectively. And when we take a cautious approach as usual, in the COVID situations, how we done for isolations and everything, right? If a network was identified, or if a host was identified, was uh, if the okay, so if the attack was identified on one of the host, or if something was infected on any of the servers, so we are just isolating the servers from the from the network, so that the attack cannot spread to other servers. So this is how we are using this architecture to do that. So now this is all brief about how the corporate network looks like and how the corporate devices work. So now we are moving into our main topic. About now today, our goal is to talk about the log management and how the log management works, and then the introduction of SIEM. So the difference between log management and SIEM, how effectively it works on the real-time environment. When we talk about log management, all the let me show you the images first. So from all the devices, the log that has been identified on all the devices, we are just making a rule or writing a condition to forward that log to a centralized server. We call it as a system log server, or in short it is a syslog server. So whatever devices on the network, we are just sending. You can see here the image shows that from the firewall, from the IPS device, from the router, and here also from the router. Like here we have a separate syslog server, so the each side have a separate syslog server. So we are forwarding that logs into the separate syslog server to make sure that the logs are stored in a log management server. This is mainly because there are multiple reasons for it. One is to fetch the devices that are on the real time will not have enough memory to handle all those logs and save all those logs for a long period of time, because this all the devices on the environment will be designed in such a way to function as per their functionality. Like for us, moments are just explained, right? So when we talk about the router has been explicitly designed for the routing purpose. So it is for routing for the incoming or outgoing traffic. It's designed for specific purpose, and their memory will be designed based upon that. Even in the real time, we can make a fire. router can act as a firewall and a firewall can act as a router also, but we are not using that because their specific functionality will be designed in such a way to make sure that it works as a firewall more efficiently than routing purpose. So that's why we have a specific devices for handling those traffics. Now when we come to log management, that's why we are not saving the logs on the same device. We are just forwarding the logs to a centralized device to make sure that all the logs have a maximum retention period, the first thing. Now the log management device have the capability that it can collect all the logs from the from the devices, and then with the help of their analyzing or parsing the data, they will make it as an more user friendly or GUI friendly, and they will give us an output in the in a such a way that it can be easy to analyze the logs. So and also we can fetch the logs whenever we required. We can take the logs from a centralized device, and we can, it is easy to compare from the previous log. So that's why we are having a log management device separately on an environment. Okay. And till this, anyone have any questions or anything that needs to be clarified before moving to SIEM? Okay, team. So if not, let's move to the upcoming the SIEM concept. So before that, we are talking about the log management challenges. What are all the challenges that we have on the log management device apart from SIEM, right? So the why the SIEM was introduced. So the log management device can do the capability. It has the capability to store everything, but it cannot do any threat analysis or security intelligence to verify whether this packet or this has some of the thread that was identified. Like that, it don't have any inbuilt feature to support or verify that. So it can just do the centralized log collection, and it can satisfy some of the complaints requirement, but it cannot satisfy all the complaints requirement. Complaints requirement is nothing but in the corporate, every corporate, they have certain protocols or certain conditions that needs to be met for all the device, all the host, to make sure that no devices are exposed to threat, or all the devices are kept in such a way that the updates was fine, and it is out of attacks from the intruders. So they might have a lot of we will get lot of complaints requirement, but the log management do not have enough capability to make sure the complaint requirement is fully satisfied. And even the effective root cause analysis for log management device needs to be done with the manual interruption. So we need to take the logs, we need to analyze it, whether there is any suspicious traffic or suspicious things that has been identified. And it's very difficult for to analyze, lakhs of millions of logs in a day, right? So those kind of things that is not effective on log management. Now this is one of the important feature, making log data more meaningful. So when it parse the data, it can make it as a user friendly, but it cannot give all the information. It cannot give a separate information. If same kind of log is coming from the firewall and also from the router, it cannot coordinate that. It can give the output on the firewall separately and the router separately, but that cannot be achieved via the log management device. And it also cannot help for any of the threat intelligence, as we talked earlier, right? So it don't have the features of having analyze that data to make sure that it is free from threat. So in order to make life easier for the corporate world, they have introduced they have introduced the system of SIEM, which is nothing but security information and event management. So Mark Nicolette and Amit Williams of Gardner in 2005 has introduced it, and it is especially mainly to analyze the logs from the network security devices even for the identification and access management, which is nothing but IAM. We will call it as IAM. So whoever is accessing, it's all about user identity, who is logging to the devices. So who have the particular role, whether they have read access, write access, so whether they authorized to use this device or not. So those kind of rules that we will set on the IAM device. So those logs will also be forwarded to the SIEM, and it will identify, and it will also have the capability to verify whether this user uh, is expect is exposing the correct using the correct authorization or not. Give me a moment, please.
Case studies போட்டிருக்கீங்கல்ல, case studies போட்டிருக்கீங்க. இல்ல அது எங்க வச்சிருக்கீங்க அதே மாதிரி போட்டுக்குவேன்.
Okay, now when we talk about this is the main function of it, and it moves on to it will take logs from all the devices, and it will use it mainly. Its main purpose apart from log management is that it can parse the data, it can send the data inside some specific engines. With the help of that, it can do threat inspection as well, whether this data is infected or not. It can make a deep inspection whether this traffic is malicious or any kind of attacks that has been identified on it.
கொஸ்டின் கொடுத்தாவே இந்த மாதிரி வந்துருமா? case study question.
So again, this is what we talked about, right? The segmentations, and the SIEM is also called it's inbuilt like security information management and security event management. All those bundled together, we call it as the security information and event management. And the segmentation of security management that deals with it. It's all about the real time monitoring. Whatever data that comes in, as we talked, it can able to find whether it contains any threat like that. So it is used for those kind of analysis and all. Okay. So this is the main difference between log management device and security information and event management. So when it comes to log collection, it will just collect the logs. It cannot correlate with any of the security threats that has been done. So the context data also cannot be reviewed here. So it can verify it with security logs, and also it can make the context data, verify all the context data in it. So the pre-processing, it can parse the data as an user friendly, which is nothing but when a log was come from any of the devices, so it can parse the data and it can make it as a user friendly, like it comes from this source IP towards this destination IP with this port number and who the user is. So it can make it as a user friendly thing. But the main advantages of SIEM is that it can even parse the data along with normalization. Normalization is nothing but if a log is coming from firewall, and if there are certain logs is coming from other devices, so it can give an output. It will correlate that, and it will give an output that the comparative output we will get that, so that the analyzing, or whenever we are doing some analyzing on that, it will more easier for us to analyze that log and verify this event is correlated with this event, and who is the user from which those IP. So those kind of information, it will more easier for us. And the log retention period, yeah, it just retain the raw log. It will retain the parsed and normalized data. So it's always SIEM is specifically designed for security focused reporting. It is just store the data, and it will not do any of the threat analysis or mark the threat scoring and all. Threat scoring is nothing but based upon the threat that So I have a request. So I think the Ramya, your mic is on unmute, and we want to please put your mic on mute, please. Hello. Is anyone as an organization? Can you mute? Can you try to mute Ramya, who is the organizer of this event? Okay, let's move forward. If someone can intimate. Okay, thanks, ma'am. So when we talk about the analysis, right? What is threat scoring? Threat scoring is nothing but it's a kind of risk level that we are giving for each and every threat. So for when we talk about each and every threat, so all the threat that has been identified is not going to harm the environment, right? So as we talk about, let me take an example, like a bite of an ant is not equivalent to the bite of the snake, right? So even the bite of a snake, all the snake is not equivalent to the bite of a venomous snake. So like that, all the thread will have a score, like it has a risk level of 1 and some has a risk level of 2, and we will mark it as low, high, low, medium, high, and then whichever is having a more affect to the environment, we will make it as a critical score. So whatever threat that has been identified as a critical, so we need to make a stringent action, or we need to make a immediate action to make sure that the threat needs to be removed immediately, or else it will spread wider and it will make the environment more harm. So that's what we call here as a threat scoring. So when it analyze each and every log, this has an inbuilt feature to analyze the logs, and based upon that analysis, it will make a score for each and every threat, and according to that, we will make it as a uh, we will take action priority, and this is similar to that. It's which event is we need to take the prioritization for which threat score. And this is alerts and notifications similar to this. Whenever we will not set alert for each and every thread. So as we talked about that, right? For ant bite, we will not go to hospitals and we will not take any treatments, right? So whenever there is a snake bite that is venomous, we will go to the doctor and we will have the treatment. Same like whenever there is a critical or high risk which is needs to be going to affect the environment, the system is set like that. So the particular team will get notified on the similar hey, a critical log has been identified, or please take action on it. And we have separate team for each and every devices. So the team who is handling that will make sure that will analyze it, whether it is a false positive report or it is whether it is true positive. So based upon that, they will analyze how to rectify the issue and they will take action on it. And it's all about the same, like how it is notified via the incident management and uh, the analysis and everything whatever we talked here. So this is the difference between the normal log management and SIEM. So to brief about it, the normal log management, we as we discussed earlier, this doesn't contain the important feature of analyzing the logs to make a threat score or to make the threat identification. The SIEM is used to parse the data. It will normalize along with it has a engine which is machine learning. uh, when a log is enter into that, it will analyze the data and it will make score for the threads, and it is used to for the day-to-day activity. We will use it for a thread scoring and make sure that yeah, make sure we are taking action on the thread scoring. So the significance of it on the corporate world is nothing but uh, the lakhs and lakhs of logs cannot be reviewed every day to make sure that whether we have a malicious IP that is hit our environment or not, a malicious traffic that has hit our environment, that cannot be done manually. So this will give report every day or report every hour. We can set it like that, and with the help of that, some of them can be we have SOA or the SOAR, which can have some of them can be rectified by themselves as well. The device, the SIEM itself will rectify the issue, which is automated response for the threat. And some of them, as I said, we will be notified, and based upon the notification, we will make an analysis to make sure how to fix the issue. So this is a main difference between log management and SIEM. So anyone have any questions on that or anything else that needs to be clarified on this? Okay, so if not, let's move to the next slide. So we talked about the difference between log management and SIEM. When it comes to SIEM, why is SIEM necessary, right? So we talked we already discussed about the difference between log management. The same here we will have it on SIEM, why it is necessary. So the data breaches has been raised nowadays. It was not like previously. That is because everyone knows about that, right? The internet has been widely used by all the devices. When we talked about all the devices, the mobile phones, and then even the vehicle that is traveling on the road will have the GPS connection, even it is tied up to the internet. All the we will call IoT, so all the devices will have the internet connected, and the attacks can be on any form and any type. So the rise in data breaches and even the rise in attacks has been increased nowadays. So the normal manual analysis is not possible. And when we talk this all, whatever we talked is about real world, all about real world. When we come to corporate world, initially everyone knows about that. Before covid crisis, it's mainly the organization is focused about work from office. So the users will be mostly sitting on an office, and all the users will be using the office network, and from there uh, the traffic is going outside to the environment or to the internet. So it is very easy to make sure that we are free from threat, and even we have it's very easy to control the threats and all. But nowadays the users are sitting outside, and they might be connecting to different network, and they are coming via the VPN from outside. So the the landscape has been increased a lot. It was wide, and the d- even the attack is more easier. Even it is not recommended for everyone, even for you people, is not to use any of the open Wi-Fi also, right? Because open Wi-Fi can also even cause uh, your personal data to be breached. No, because whoever is sitting on the other side, we don't know about that. Who is spreading this Wi-Fi, and even the intruders or whoever is the attacker sitting on the other side. When you are using the open Wi-Fi, they can log into the particular Wi-Fi device, and from there they can connect to your device, and they can even they can even take your data, and they can do some breaches. So it is not recommended to any of the public Wi-Fi. It's not recommended for corporate as well. And when we talk about yourself, it is also not recommended for anyone to use any of the open Wi-Fi. When it gets freeze, when we will think like, okay, we are moving to an it might be a hospital or a cafe or wherever it may be. When we think, okay, we have an open Wi-Fi, let me use that. But we have always have a risk of data breaches on those open Wi-Fis as well. And even the here it's mentioned like the attackers are smart, and traditional security tools just don't suffice, because which means that nowadays as we discussed, right, the threat has been, the attackers perspective has also been differed. And also they are using, even as the introduction of AI also make more easier for the attackers to create some programmings very easily in a fraction of a second, and they can change their way of attack on all the devices. So the traditional security tool that initially use the log management device or whatever it may be, even the traditional firewall that cannot satisfy the real-time threat nowadays. So uh, even so even to manage large volume of data, these all are discussed, and for stringent compliance requirement, which means that the compliance team will have more protocols or policy needs to be followed. So those kind of things, the SIEM is more necessary on a corporate world to make sure that the threats has been identified or threat has been removed. It cannot be eradicated, or it cannot be 100% free, but it will be more useful for 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 the industrial world. So that is how SIEM works. Okay, now when we come about elements of SIEM, so the monitored events on the devices will come to the device, and from there it goes to the event collection. Event collection is nothing but it will be forwarded towards the SIEM tool. From there, it has the core engine which will analyze the data uh, for uh, for thread or whatever and for parsing the data normalization. So the core engine will have that purpose, and it will give an output in a user interface. Let me check whether. Okay, so this is one of the example of it. So how the user interface looks like. So it will be more in the user readable format. As you can see on the screen, it will show it. This log was generated on March 20th, and the time date with seconds, right? And you will get what protocol that the user is using, what kind of action it is. The user has typed a password, and who the user is. This is for the username is root, and from where the user is coming. From where the user is coming, or what is the IP address of the user, and what's the port number, the source port number, and again which protocol they are trying to access. So like this, it will parse the data and will give a data format in the user interface, which is more easier for us to analyze it. Okay, so this even when we put a we will get a filter to make sure that if you put a date filter like March 20th, we will get all the relevant logs on the March 20th. And if we want add to more filter like and or operator that we are using, right, in all the in all technologies. So here also, the when we use or operator, based upon that it will produce output. And if you put March 20th and username is root, it will specifically give you an output regarding that log. All the March 20th, wherever the root user has been identified, it will show all the logs and from all the devices. So it will so that's what initially we discussed, right? So from all the devices, this will be more easier for us to analyze and make sure it's in a the user interface will be more easier for the identification. Okay, so this is the same that what we discussed, log collection, log analysis, and event correlation between different devices. Any thread has been identified, complaints requirement, log monitoring, then real-time alerting, as we discussed, right? The critical or high risk will be alerted immediately to the respective team. Users activity monitoring, it is also as we on IAM we talked, right? So the user is expected to do such activity with what are all the activity has been happened for a particular user, whether they are surfing the internet, what kind of surfing they are doing, and what kind of social medias that they are accessing. Those kind of monitoring can also be done. And the dashboard will give you a brief about even it can give a graphical or pictorial representation of what we are looking for. Even I think there is one slide that gives the dashboard as well, and reporting, even the file integrity monitoring, which means that do we have any malicious files, system log monitoring, and log retention. So these are all the features of SIEM. So the main three features that the SIEM will satisfy is about the compliance requirement, and then the security or related stuff, that the threat analysis, and even the operations, which is nothing but we saw a log, right? So it will be easier for us for an engineer to analyze the logs to mm, uh, to find the root cause. What is the cause of the issue? Now again, this is similar to the elements that we talked. So here it gives what was happening. The process flow will be data collection. So it is extract the intelligent information, which means that the threat analysis, everything will be done over here, and it will add a flag or add a value. Add value is adding a tag towards it, whether it is high risk or whether it is low risk. It will add a tag toward it. Tag towards is as per the analysis that was done, and then it will present that on the dashboard and on the reports, and even the pictorial representation also we can get on that. Again, the SIEM, the whatever we talked here, right? So it will first search, analyze, and then alert, report, archive, and correlate that. So this all whatever we are seeing here, this all are sending a logs towards SIEM, and here the analysis, everything will be happened, and here this is all about giving the output to us. It's same kind of thing. So here you can clearly see that even data is going inside the SIEM. So operating system, application devices, and database logs are sending all are moving towards the SIEM, and the SIEM has this kind of contextual things. Okay, so this rules will be applied to all this data. That's what this slide is showing about. So it will do vulnerability scan, user information, asset information, threat intelligence. So when we talk about asset information, it even collect with the help of event data. It even collect all the informations about assets, like what kind of operating system it is running, what kind of softwares that was installed on the system, whether all the softwares are up to date. Is there any softwares, the typical softwares that has been missing, like whether the antivirus was installed, like that. There might be few of the important softwares that needs to be there for compliance requirements. So those kind of information also we can write it as a rule, and that analysis also be done on that SIEM. And whatever devices or any devices that is unable to satisfy that, it will produce an output based on that. It will flag and based on produce an output. With the help of that, this will be sent to a respective compliance team as well as the particular team. They will work on that to make sure that we have all the softwares installed, and we are fixing that asset free from all the threats, and then we are making it as a non-compliant. So this is few features that has been added here. So it will sending it, and it will give an output. With the help of that, analyzing, reporting, and real-time monitoring will be done. Okay. Anyone have any questions still? So we are just moving to the next features of it. So yes, please. I think someone, Betsy is raising a hand. Any questions? Yeah, is it a boring session? Hello. A block diagram of SIEM, which means the previous one that we discussed, or is it possible to unmute ma'am to ask the question? It will be easier for me to navigate. Betsy ma'am, feel free to unmute and ask the questions, so that easier for me to answer as or to navigate whether I am answering your question correctly or not. Okay. So can you ping here which page number you are looking for? This is architecture, and when we talk about block diagram, page number 16. Okay. Any doubts on this, or you explain more about that, or? Okay, so when we talk about okay. Okay, so let me give a brief of it. So again, when we talk about this SIEM process flow, the data collection is nothing but whatever data that is coming in from whatever log that is coming in from different devices. So that all reach on the syslog server on the data collection center. From there, it will have an extract intelligent information, which is nothing but it will go into the core engine here. So the core engine will have the all the programmings that what needs to be analyzed on it, and based upon that it will analyze it will analyze the data and extract the information. It will do all the analysis over there, and it will pass the data like as a user friendly, as well as it will do all the tagging over there. Then it will give an output which add a value like the flags and everything. Then we will get this a dashboard. And Manhat, I am a network researcher. So when we talk about that, the critical issues for research, which means that based upon how harm it is impacting the environment, right? For example, if you talk about a spyware, which we can talk about some of the spywares. So command and control is the one. So okay, so let me. I will reshare the screen and I will show you the entire screen. Try to show the entire screen here. So hope the screen is visible, right? Anyone can confirm that? Okay. Thanks, man. So Manhit, to answer your question, I'm just going for. I will try to give an explanation about that. How in real time, one of the attacks that is more critical, right? So what kind of attack that will face? So we can talk about this is our. So let me put some. So this is a client and this is a server. Okay, so the client is sitting on our office, and here is the server that is located. Now here we will have all the devices like router, switches, firewalls, and everything. Okay, so as we said, right? So all the things that will happen here: router, firewall, and switches, whatever it. So it's just it pass all the network device and when trying to reach the server. So now the client is looking for a SSH session or a HTTPS session. Okay, now the server that was placed on the internet considered to be from an attacker. Okay, or from any of the malicious person who is having this. So we all might have a notifications about don't click the link, don't use this link. We will day to day we will be seeing those, right? In the WhatsApp we will get messages, and if we click the link we will be get hacked or attacked, and even on the mails we will receive some malicious things, right? So what exactly happens on the background of it is that you will reach out from your client and you will connect to a malicious person server. Okay, now if this all that once you get a connection established over here, for example, when a client is trying to connect over here, and if the connection is established, and if that considered to be an encrypted connection, okay, and in some cases this attacker will work like, you know, that actual traffic will look like HTTPS session or a 443 session, but inside that will do all the other all the other activities as well, like that they will for example, it looks like a bank site, bank site, and then when they when you type your bank net banking customer ID, password, everything can be noticed by them, like whatever information, your data and everything can be collected by them. So when you come to the topic, so the client is connecting to the server. Now if the traffic is getting encrypted, so now this device all will be blinded from what is going on between the client and the server. It all encrypted traffic. Now this client will connect to the server. So whatever things that has been exposed by, whatever typing on the client, everything can be hacked by the server, the persons inside it, and they will they will hack your details. So this is one kind of critical attack. Okay, they are taking a control over your like not a control, they are collecting all your data, you are connecting to a different thing. So this is considered to be critical. Now the second thing is command and control, which is nothing but you are trying to connect a SSH session. Initially it looks like an SSH session. Now for SSH session, the server will connect back to your host. Okay, initially it will look like an SSH session. This is also an encrypted session. So once the session was established, the attacker will change their motive, okay, change their mode, and they will make a connection towards your system, okay, because already they have a connection established, and they will take connection on your all the data, and this will lead to data breaches. This is called command, and these all things are considered to be an critical things. Now when we talked about all these devices are blinded from collecting or seeing all those, but that's how the next generation firewalls and next generation things comes in picture. So the next generation firewall will have a capability like they have a decryption capability. Okay, so which is nothing but if a client is going to connect to a server, so the client is sitting here and the server is sitting here. So this device or the firewall will act as an proxy. So the connection from the client will terminate to the firewall. The firewall will establish a connection on behalf of the client to the server. Now when the server is responding back, it will reach to the firewall. The firewall inspect everything, or the device will inspect everything, then it will forward the traffic to the client. In this case, what happens when a client is trying to establish an SSH session, so it will not directly encrypted to the server, and this will not happen like this. As beginning we discussed, right, it will not happen like this act as a proxy. The client establish a connection, the firewall will decrypt it and see what are all happening on that, and it will send to the server. Now the server returns back, it will also land here, and it acts. Now the firewall will have the capability to look into everything, what actually happening for the traffic. So it will identify that traffic through the thread. This is one of the critical thing, right, because it can hack the all the data even once it enter to the client. If the client is connected to the all the other network, they can even spread through all the networks, right? So this thread is command and control is going to be it will be called a C2C. This is going to be one of the critical alerts. So for this, it will based upon the criticality, even we have the security along with the security rule. So initially the security rule will allow the traffic. So once it find there is some threat, we have some profiles attached to it, which is nothing but the content inspection profile that we talked earlier, right? Nowadays the firewall will the capability to layer 7 inspection, even it can do all the content inspection as well. So the content is treating to be malicious. In the profile we will write in the profile also we will have some set of rules. if the spyware was identified and if it is command and control, go ahead and block the traffic. So the initial handshake will occur, but the actual session will not get established because this traffic is considered to be thread. So this is one of the example, and that how we will react towards that's how the firewall will take action or the device will take action for the real-time threat. Manhat, is that answered your question? Okay. So now when we talk about the critical, when we move to the further slides, it's all about what we discussed earlier. So it's when we talk about the critical features of SIEM, again, it's a universal log collection, which is nothing but it will collect logs from all the type of devices, Windows system, Linux system, applications. So all the devices will send to the log, and the log collection method can be considered as agent based or agentless, which is nothing but the agent based is nothing but if you have a device, you need to install a software on it, and then with the help of the software, the log will be sent to the particular device, which is called agent based, or log will be forwarded to the uh, syslog server or the SIEM. Agentless is nothing but we will just forward the logs with the based on forwarding capability, which is nothing but we will write a rule forward logs to this IP, so that the log will be forwarded. We don't want to install any particular agent on the particular device. So most of the network devices will work on agentless only, but the Windows system, Linux system, we will install the softwares on application databases. But the network device, when we talk about router, switches, and firewall, it will mostly agentless, which is just directly forwarding. We will write a forwarding rule on that. It's a centralized log connections and collection, and even it's a lot of us as we talked earlier. So we will generate lot of logs because the logs will be coming each and every seconds, even for every fraction of second we will get lot of logs into it. Okay, so I think this one is covered. User activity monitoring is the one that we talked for that research student. So that is nothing but an user is trying to connect to an outside environment, and they might be using some of the malicious sites or whatever it may be, right? So all the things can be monitored, and the user is the user is he's actually a normal person who is trying different thing without knowing him, or else he might be attacker. So based on the report, we will take a report, and based on that the this will be notified to the end customer with the help of manager or team lead. This kind of activity has been observed from the system. Please notify them not to use. And even in the corporate world, we will have a lot of sessions as well for that, how to be safe in the environment, and what are the do's and don'ts that we should follow every day to make sure that none of the activity is happened by mistakes, or by mistake itself none of the intruders can enter into the environment. um, so which you yeah so the SIEM, this is as we talked, right? The SIEM will give you an overview which user performed the action and what was the result of the action. So how the um, mm, so is the action is causing some harm to the environment, and on which server it happened, from which server, which device the user is trying, and user or which, it might be workstation, or from a device, it might be firewall or whatever it may be, and where the action was triggered. So it is on the, again, it's on which device the action was triggered. So this all things can be monitored. And real-time threat correlation, it is a kind of Venn diagram you can see here, right? So the A, B, C, D, so it will match all those, and it will make a correlation all for all these individually collected logs, and it gives us an output. So it will be easier for us, to make sure we can analyze and even the correlation will be more easier on that. So that's what here real-time event correlation is proactively dealing with threats. So when something comes in, so here we have an engine that will analyze and put that into, and we will get a common result on that. It boosts network security. Yeah, so even the processing of it will be more quicker than manual detection. So if any anomalous event was found, so it's very easier for us to crack it. And the correlation can be based on log search rules and alerts. So the logs that is coming in, and we will write a rules and condition for it, and that whatever tag that was attached to it, with the help of that we will get to know what to do on that, what kind of traffic we will get. Even we will get an alert mail that notified it. And yeah, the log retention period, even we can write how many days this logs to be stored. We need it for 90 days or 6 months or 1 year. We can make sure that this log is stored on a particular device for so and so days, and it's on a centralized repository. And even this is another one important feature of it. Okay, so even the whatever logs that is stored will be on the encrypted format. It cannot be, even someone is cannot easily hack and take the SIEM. That also comes in picture, right? If someone uh, hack the SIEM, then even it is more easier for them to collect all the data from there, right? So the data which is stored there will always in an encrypted format, and it is kind of the files that is stored on the office premises, right? 2025 record it is, and what are the students that have joined on which department. We will be having a separate data to store everything. Like that, it will stamp everything with the help of date time, with even with fraction of seconds, along with dates, year. So it will be more we can collect the data at any point of time, and that will be on the encrypted format, is for retrieving and analyzing log data. And when it comes for complaints report, so it will so whenever a complaint is setting some policy, say this needs to be, or this needs to be fixed, or this is the what needs to be satisfied from the SIEM. So if that SIEM have the capability, we will write a rule on that, like what we discussed, right? The software, antivirus software should be there, and whether it is updated or not. And if you want some other software also needs to be installed, we will add it to the complaints requirement. Based upon that, the SIEM will generate an output, and so say this many systems are not still in compliance, which means this software is not installed. So we can pull that report, and it will be easier for us to make sure the device is non-compliant. Now, yeah, the file integrity. When we talk about file integrity, whatever stored will be in encrypted format. And when files, whatever files that was after a particular time of date, if you want to delete it, we can delete it. And that should be that has a different process. They will after the deletion, they will make sure that the data will be on a corrupted format. None one can access that. So that's file integrity. The log, the log forensic is nothing but some intruder. If some intruder is the user activity that we talked, right? The kind of attack that was done for. Um, we talked about that, right? How the outside intruder will come in and take our passwords and everything. So those kind of thing, or the based upon the activity that is going on, or the log forward to the SIEM, it will analyze it, and it will find that traffic to be, hey, this is an malicious IP from the internet. So make sure that we are blocking it, to make sure that we are not getting any more attacks like that. So the intruder of the event activity, with the help of log search capability, and it will be more user friendly. And truly, this kind of logs will be more user friendly, that when we work on it, it will give the output in a very friendly manner. It will be very useful for us to analyze everything. Now the dashboard we as we seen earlier, right? So it will give a dashboard with all this. So it's one of the security dashboard. So here it will show from this IP we have seen this many promises host and multiple events that was triggered. Here we have 10 set it as top 10. So the top 10 events we will get it as an alert, and then the security events, what are all the security events that happened, and security all these will here we set it as top 5 alarms. And when you explore deeper into it, we will get all the information. So from which IP we triggered the security alert, what was the peak security alert, and who is the user. So those all the information can be collected from here. So this is how the dashboard looks like. Even you can see here we can click on vulnerability dashboard, complaints dashboard, to verify that whether the complaints has been satisfied, what are the systems are in a non-complaint state. So all these details can be gathered over here. Business benefit. Anyway, we don't want any manual intervention. Compliance can be achieved. Reporting, that is nothing, but we can generate the report and we can see that the real-time monitoring will be more effective on SIEM. So this is what all I want to cover about SIEM today. So I have few other things that I can show, but before that, anyone have any questions or anything to be discussed on this? Okay, if not, okay, if no more questions, let me quickly move into so a few of the important.
So, Alwin, sir,
Yes, sir.
whether you will be continuing or
I will be winding in the next 5 minutes. I will give you some real-time examples with the images,
okay,
and then I will be winding up.
okay, thank you.
So, maximum, I don't have enough information about that, but I can collect the information and I will share to the respective person. You can get it from there. I can try to collect and will let you know on that. Thank you. Now, the SSL handshake. I'm just giving a brief of the SSL handshake, right? Whatever we talked about when between the client and the server, how the SSL handshake occurs. So when the client is, so we have HTTP and HTTPS traffic, right? When we talk about HTTP is a open text one, and HTTPS is a secured one, right? And the HTTPS is always the more secured, and we are instructed to use the HTTPS session only. So how that becomes secured is with the help of the certificate, right? So the certificate that is contained on the site will have the public key and the private key. With the help of public and private key, the informations will be encrypted and then decrypted. So in order to the achieve the encryption and all, so these are all the things that happens behind the screen. So whenever a client is trying to connect a session, so initially it will send hello, along with our browser will have the cipher suite information, what encryption needs to be done, what hash value needs to be done to make sure the integrity was there. So it will try to make a connection over here. So the server will respond back, hey, I have shared these cipher suites along with it will share the public key. It will not share the private key to anyone. The private key is used to decode the traffic, right? So now with the help of the public key, it will share some information, the parameter information again to the cloud, to the server. Now with the help of the Diffie-Hellman algorithm and few maths, they end up with the pre-shared master key along with the session key. So now the client and the server will have a session key. So whatever encrypted by this key will be decoded by the same key only. So with the help of that, this secured information will be achieved. And as we talked earlier, so if if a firewall in between cannot see that, so in those cases the firewall will act as a proxy, as we talked earlier. So the proxy is nothing in this case. How the firewall will act as a proxy? The firewall will have the certificate on its own. So it will share the certificate to the client. Whenever client is trying to reach the destination to the server, it cannot reach directly. So first it will reach the firewall. The firewall will share its certificate to the client. The client will have that certificate. Now the firewall will forward the traffic to the server. Now the server will be responding back. It will respond back to the firewall, right? Now the firewall can inspect everything along with the app ID and content ID, whatever that needs to be done. It will do all those things. Now the firewall will again re-encrypt the traffic and send it to the client. So as this was discussed in the previous earlier as well. So this is how this will be achieved, and this is how the firewall or the detection system can do their analysis much better to make sure that it's free from all the threats. So that's how the even the conduction will be done with threat inspection. Now when we talk about the thread, how it look like, so all the thread will be given a thread ID. Okay, so all the vendor will generate some thread ID, and every 24 hours they will be sharing an updated information to us. So we will be installing it on all the firewalls or all the particular devices. So whenever a traffic is identified like that, so it will if it is correlated with that kind of thread, if it is a vulnerability, spyware, or whatever it may be, everything will have an ID. Now it is showing a severity of a high severity. So we will have a rule that was already written, as we talked earlier. For high and medium, we are not going to take any action. We will leave as it is, because it's not going to harm. For low and medium, if it is high, we will based some of them we will make it as to block in the beginning itself, and critical, there is no way that we are not allowing it to the environment. So this is how it detects, and it will give a flag as we talked, right? So you can see here, this is how it is flagged. Here it is flagged as high. And wildfire is one of the feature that the firewall, the Palo Alto firewall, is having. It is nothing but the real-time threat conduction. So whenever a traffic comes to our environment, if a file or anything, so it will forward it to the wildfire cloud that is on the internet. So it will do all the machine learning and everything, and it will respond back to us stating that this is malicious or non-malicious. If it is malicious, or if it is identify a new kind of data, it will code it, give a new thread ID, and send it to the vendor or the Palo Alto, and in the next content release, they will send it with the thread ID to all the firewalls. So all the firewalls will get updated. So this is how the wildfire cloud or threat analysis happens in a real time. So the traffic will forward there, and all the analysis will be done, and it will be blocked, or it will take the particular action based on that. Okay, so that's all I have. Anything that yet to be discussed, please let me know, and if any questions that need to be answered, please be open on that.
So participants, if you have any query, please ask now. Thank you. Wait, sir. So thank you, sir.
Thank
On
you.
behalf of the management, principal, head of the department, faculty coordinators, and the Department of Information Technology of St. Xavier's Catholic College of Engineering, we extend our Sincere gratitude to Mr. A. Alwin, Senior Project Associate, Cognizant Technology Solution, Chennai, for delivering such an insightful and engagement session on security analytics and SIEM. Your rich industry experience and practical insights into the security analytics, SIEM technologies, and modern cybersecurity practices have provided our participants with valuable knowledge and deeper understanding of real-world security operations. Your clear explanation and interactive approach made the session both informative and inspiring. We truly appreciate the time and effort you have taken to share your expertise with us. We are confident that today's session will greatly benefit all the participants in their academic, research, and professional endeavors. Once again, thank you, sir, for being with us today. We wish you continued success in all your future endeavors.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining, and
Dear
have a good day.
participants, sir, there will be photo session. Just wait for some time.
Okay.
Dear participants, thank you for your active participation in today's session. Kindly fill out the feedback form. The link is already shared in the chat box. Now, all the participants can turn on your camera for the photo session. I request all the participants to turn on your camera for the photo session. Thank you all for your active participation. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Bye.